Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, North Carolina's Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. I did not go to the movies this weekend. I had wanted to see, the only thing that was coming out this weekend that I was interested in was Pillion, but unfortunately it's limited release, so it's playing at 1 AMC, it's up at Lincoln Square, and all the showtimes were just completely full up, and I don't feel like sitting in the way back or the way front, so maybe next time, we'll see. But I do want to talk about, I did want to just briefly mention the new Muppet Show special that premiered on Disney Plus last week. Big Muppet fan, and it hit all the right nostalgia buttons. Like from the opening, they recreated the opening credits perfectly. It was not quite one-to-one, it was almost exactly the same, but like they swapped in some like better known Muppets for the generic ones from the original TV show. Because back then they were just like random pigs and things and whatever. Now they're like, well, now we can put Sam the Eagle or whatever, so that you recognize them and it's more popular. And here's Swedish Chef and whatever. But it just was wonderful. They, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and do a new Muppet Show, they were like, let's not fix what's not broken, you know? And there was the Muppet Show the way it's supposed to be. Everything looked great. It was the same kind of feel, and like there was a sketch, a musical number, another sketch, some backstage banter, and all this nonsense and the chaos, and it was just delightful. I will say that Sabrina Carpenter was the guest, and like obviously she's going to sing her song, and then Rizzo the Rat sang a song which I had to look up. It's by The Weeknd. I didn't know it. It wasn't bad. And I'm like, you know, I was a little concerned that they were going to try to pitch this to the kids. And I'm like, 90% of the people watching a Muppet Show special are my age. They're older. They're looking for nostalgia and play some of the old stuff. And then they did. Then they played Islands in the Stream and some Queen, and it was like, okay. So they balanced it pretty well. I thought it was fantastic. I really hope that it does well. I don't really know how streamers tell. It's like a pilot, but there's no ratings because it's streaming, so I don't know. I guess hopefully there's enough streams of it that they say, okay, let's make a new Muppet Show and we can actually get a series out of this, and that would be great. However, as wonderful as it was, there was one thing that bothered me, and if they come back for a new series, a full proper series, I will of course watch it, but I would like whoever's doing Kermit to work on the voice a little more, because it just wasn't quite there. Everyone else sounded pretty much the way they're supposed to sound, except Kermit. He wasn't, I don't know, I guess he needs to be a little, I feel it needs to be a little higher and more nasally, I don't know. Just, it was a little low, and it just didn't sound like Kermit. So, but it was great. If you like the Muppets, you need to watch that because it was fantastic, even with the bad Kermit voice. And then, I just want to mention this shirt that I found yesterday at Uniqlo, my Neighbor Totoro t-shirt, which, unfortunately, it's amazing and gorgeous and I love it. And I bought it even though, because it's so gorgeous, I love it. I had to buy it, even though it's like that plasticky iron-on thing. So it's a little heavy and it's a little, you know, ugh. I don't like those. I like it to be smooth, but it was so pretty, I was like, I don't care. I'll deal with the plasticness of it all. Maybe it'll soften over time with washing. Who knows? As for games, Nintendo had a Direct, which I fast-forwarded through. It was a third-party Direct, and there was not really anything in there that grabbed my attention at all. The only thing that I noticed was that I feel like they're starting to pivot to the Switch 2. So before, I feel like it was the last time around, the last Direct, I feel like it was, here are some Switch games, and these are coming to the Switch 2 as well. And this time it was like, here are some Switch 2 games, and these two are also available on the Switch, by the way. You know, so it was like the Switch 2 was becoming the priority, and the Switch was like, you can also play it. But some of them were not available on the Switch 2. For instance, Resident Evil. The new Resident Evil is coming out for the Switch 2. And that's great. But, and they're also Bethesda announced that, like, you know, Oblivion is coming and Fallout is coming and Indiana Jones is coming, and they're all coming to the Switch 2. And it's like, that's great, but it's very much like when the Switch 2 launched and they had Cyberpunk, and it's like, you're gonna pay $60 for this game on the Switch 2. Whereas if you only have a Switch 2, then fine, that's great, you can play all these great games. But if you also have an Xbox or a PlayStation, you might as well get it there because it'll play better and look better. And also, like, these are older games that are going to be cheaper. You know, you can get them at a discount because they're older. So it's, you know... but Resident Evil is coming out on the Switch 2 as well as the other systems, which is great. And if you only have a Switch 2, you can play the new Resident Evil. Yay! But I do feel like if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, you're probably going to buy it on that because it'll play better. The thing with the Switch 2 is you could play it portably. You can play Resident Evil wherever you are, which is great. Though I don't really know how much people play their Switch 2s portably. I don't know. I don't play mine portably at all anymore. I don't really go anywhere anymore. And then as for the games that I've been playing, just waiting for the new update in Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's actually coming out on, I think, the 11th, they said. 10th or 11th. So that's it's Lady and the Tramp. So that'll keep me busy for another few months. Then I've been exploring the new Infinity Nikki update, doing the main quest while also some side things. Unfortunately, as part of the main quest, you have to... This woman was like, you know, oh, I'm going to have a hot pot banquet. And you help get her the ingredients. I think I mentioned this last episode. And it was like a little platforming thing where you get the ingredients. And she's like, it's just a shame that it has to cook for a half an hour. And I'm reading this like, wait, what, is that a typo? Like, what? But then Nikki was all like, I'm sorry, what? Nikki and Momo were like, why are you cooking your hot pot for a half an hour? Like, that's insane. And she's like, and no one likes it. And then it turns out she doesn't actually understand how to cook hot pot. It's just that's the job she was given as a chroma face, as you might recall from last episode when I mentioned the chroma faces, and they get assigned random roles that they have to do. So this one runs this store, this one runs that store, this one does construction, this one's a babysitter, whatever. She's supposed to run this hot pot place, but doesn't know anything about hot pot. So Nikki has to teach her how you just cook the hot pot until it's cooked, and then you take it out of the broth, and it's delicious. And oh my god, this hot pot minigame is so busted. Like, the tutorial was actually like okay this time. Usually that's what I have a problem with, is like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Here I knew what I was supposed to be doing, I just couldn't do it. Like, you're clicking on the ingredients, and then you're clicking on the water, and sometimes the clicks don't register, and then you click on the ladle, and you're trying to stir it, but like, all of a sudden the ingredients are cooked, and you have to get them out before they overcook, but you're trying to pick them up, and they're not picking up, and then you're putting them back, and then you try to put them in a bowl, and you can't get it to go in the bowl, because you're clicking on the bowl, and nothing's happening, and it's like, so annoying. And I looked online, and literally everything I saw was like so many Reddit posts that were like, what the fuck with this minigame? Like, it's so broken. And people were like, yeah, I had to like stop playing with the controller and use my mouse and keyboard because that was the only way that I could get things to register. Like, the controller is busted. So, yeah, so that sucked. And what sucked was that it's part of a main quest. So if you don't do this, you can't continue the main quest. So after frustratingly trying to do it for a long time, I actually was able to get everything cooked and into the bowls, and then I went to try to hand her a bowl, and it like, I couldn't lift it, like I was clicking on the bowl and nothing was happening, so I couldn't serve it to her. So basically what I had to do was like quit and like restart it, because I couldn't do anything else. I was stuck in this, I had to do this. So I tried it again, and thankfully this time I was able to click the bowl and it lifted up, and I was able to hand her some whatever, meat or something, and she was like, this is delicious, thank you. And then moved on. Now, the hot pot banquet hall is still there, the restaurant is still there, and like, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, so you run the restaurant. And then Nikki's like, okay, sure. And now there's like other customers that you have to serve. And like, I tried to serve this old lady, and she did not like what I served because I struggled with the controls, and I think things got overcooked, or I actually think it was that I didn't put everything in one bowl. Like, I put some in a bowl and then and some in another bowl, and it was like there wasn't all the ingredients in one bowl. Because then when I did that, then she liked it and was like, "That's delicious, thank you." And I'm just like, holy crap. Like, I just keep hoping that maybe they'll fix the controls and make them register properly, because otherwise this minigame is a bitch. Thankfully now it's optional, so but there was also one other bit where I was, after I did that and I was doing other main quest stuff, there was a point where like the moon, part of the moon falls away, and it's scary looking, and everyone blames Nikki because she's an outsider, she's not a chroma face, so they're all like after her. And you go on the run, and there was like this weird pop-up that was like, you're about to start like this whole like story section, like, and you won't be able to do other things for a while, so click here to start when you're ready. And I'm like, what? Like, I've never seen such a thing. And basically what it meant was, it was like you're on the run, and as you're running around, like, you can't grab that, you know, other lantern, or you can't release this, you can't do any of this like side things, because you're just doing what you're doing. You can't actually like do anything else. I don't even think you could change your outfit. I didn't try, but like literally nothing. And then you get this like new magical outfit only for like this one brief sequence, where you're supposed to like disguise you use this magical outfit to disguise your appearance so that they don't recognize you as the human Nikki. The problem is that you're supposed to like one of them was like, "I don't trust your eyes, they're too narrow," or whatever, so you have to go in and make your eyes wider, except there's no indication of, they all look the same, like all the faces look the same, and I'm just like, I don't know. So I just sort of would pick random things, and then the guards would be like, "Okay, go on your way, you don't look like that human we're looking for, so bye-bye." And I was like, okay, thank you, because it was just random. But I also, in Star Wars Outlaws, did a whole bunch of random crap, because as I mentioned last episode, I'm like at the end of the storyline, and there was like this big moment where this character comes back, and Kay is all like, "Ah," and the next mission, you're supposed to go talk to that character. I don't know why I'm avoiding spoilers for a game that came out last year, but whatever. It's just my nature. I don't like to spoil things if I don't have to. So she's supposed to go talk to this character, and I'm like, you know what? No. I'm going to do a bunch of other things. And so I did a bunch of other things. Like, I did actually... I mentioned this last episode that I wanted to unlock Lando Calrissian and play Sabacc. That was horrible, by the way. I kind of put it off, and I actually ended up doing the heavy weapons specialist. I did her mission, and that was fun, because you get one of those big, giant machine gun things that goes with the shield down front. That was awesome. So now I can use those, which is fun. But then I had to go and play Sabacc, and so I tried it, because I didn't play it at the beginning of the game, where you could have, and it probably would have been more of a tutorial and an easier game. I just played at a random Sabacc table and lost. It was so complicated. I was like, I get the basic idea, but then they like add in all these other complicated things, and it was like, I thought I picked there was a discard that was the card I would have wanted to make a match so I could have Sabacc, but then it's like, okay, now roll, when it came time for the final draw, it was like, now roll the dice. And I'm like, and that'll determine the number of the card. I was like, but the number of the card is what's on the card. It's not like a random card that you draw dice, that you would roll dice to like pick a number. I was like, what? And so that ruined it. And I ended up losing, and I was like, this sucks. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, because you're supposed to go and play a Sabacc game for Lando to win back his token. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. But I tried anyway. And it turned out that one was like a way easier game. And I think that the game like purposefully made it like super easy, because you're supposed to win that token back. And they want him to get that token back, because there's a whole, it's not just a token. and that's how the rebels are exchanging data and whatever. So, spoiler. So like, it was much easier, and I succeeded, and it was fine. And I was like, and now I don't have to play Sabacc ever again in this game. Thank you. And then I also ended up, last night, I was doing a whole thing on Tatooine where I wanted to find this blaster part that I needed in order to like, oh no, it wasn't a blaster part. It was this, I don't know what it was, but it was some part that I needed in order to finish and get improved Bacta vials for healing, so that they'll heal you faster and whatever. And I was like, let me do that. So I did that, and now I can have that. But the thing is that I don't really need it, because I have since gotten these 3 pieces of an outfit that I'm wearing, so that basically what it does is like, my health restores naturally over time. So, and it restores really quickly too, as it turns out. So I'm like, okay, great. So like, if I get hit and I shoot some people and then I'm like down a couple, like I haven't used a Bacta vial in like 2 weeks because I just naturally heal. So even if I fall like a great height and I'm like down to 1, I just walk it off and it goes and I'm healed fully again. So I don't know why I wanted the increased Bacta vials, because I don't use them anymore, it seems. But in an emergency, it'll be helpful. Like in a firefight, I might need to use them so that I don't, have to wait. But I am very close to the end of the game, and I think that I've done a bunch of side things, and then I did a couple of like the major quests. Like the other intel stuff, I'm just like, eh. But I did do, over the past few days, I did like a couple remaining quests that I had, because that has like, dialogue and storyline and characters and whatnot, and that was fine. The problem is that those quests have been sitting there for so long that when I got to the point where they're like, do you want to give this to this syndicate or that syndicate? I'm like, I don't know. Who am I supposed to give it to? Who wanted it in the first place? I don't remember. It's been months. I'm sorry. But now I think what I'm going to do is focus on like playing the end of the game and finishing this game, because I'm planning on seeing my friend in a couple of weeks, and he's going to lend me Ghost of Yote, and I'm very excited to explore the beauty of that game. So we'll see how quickly I can finish Star Wars. I don't know. I feel there's only like, a couple of story missions left, but they're probably like, huge. So with multiple parts. So we'll see what happens. So come back next week and see how much progress I've made. Bye!